What's that you've been reading?
The Andanuth. I found it in that house yesterday.
Good?
Like nothing I ever read.
It's a road. There's a girl on it.
A girl? What's she doing?
Just standing there, talking to herself.
She's a guard.
I don't think so. Just a kid wearing a dress.
It's a trap. She's bait.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
Maybe. Maybe not. We gotta check it out.
Sam, what are you doing? Sam. Go with him.
Are you the mailman?
What?
Are you the mailman?
No. No, I'm not.
I'm waiting for the mailman.
Yeah? Why's that?
My dad is waiting for a package. He ordered some books. Some game books. I'm going to meet the mailman when he comes. We can play games again.
Where is your dad?
He's over there. He doesn't talk much anymore. I think he'll pick up when his books get here.
You should just come with us. It's not safe out here alone.
What's your name?
Emmy.
My friend's right, Emmy. It's not safe. And the mail hasn't run in a... Well, the mail isn't running anymore.
I shouldn't be talking to strangers.
We gotta go. Now.
Where'd she go? Emmy!
Jukes, we have to find her.
Emmy!
Let her go. She's gone. Now, she was never even there.
Is that Emmy's dad?
It's the mailman.
It's Emmy's game books.
You know the rules. Take only what you need. Sam. Sam!
Emmy?
Today's story comes to us from r/RPG Horror Stories. This is a story from about 15 years ago. I was GMing a game of Castles and Crusades. One player had a true neutral druid. The story involved the players investigating who was behind a sudden rash of goblin raids against a previously peaceful farming village, and if possible, put a stop to future raids. After a fight with a goblin raiding party, one goblin was still alive and had surrendered. The players questioned the goblin about who was coordinating the raids, but it soon became clear that he was just a lowly grunt with no real knowledge of the higher-ups. However, this is when the druid decided that he didn't believe the goblin. With the goblin tied up, he announced that he was getting his knife. "I'm going to make him talk," he said with a certain glee. He then threatened the goblin if he didn't reveal the commanding mastermind. I announced that the goblin was scared, but repeated in a cowering voice that he was ignorant of such things. "Okay, he had his chance," the player said, and started to go into a graphic description of... I told him the goblin was screaming, but didn't reveal anything useful amidst his screams. The player, still convinced that he was hiding something, started to graphically At this point, it was clear that the other players were getting a little uncomfortable about the player's apparent sadistic glee in the graphic descriptions of torture. At that point, I stepped in and said, "Add evil to your alignment. By the way, an alignment change like that is going to result in you losing your druidic powers." That's when the player lost it. He said that since goblins were evil, according to the monster manual, it was okay to torture them for the greater good. Furthermore, he argued, True neutral simply meant that he could do anything, good or evil, to get the job done. Evil alignments, according to him, meant that evil acts were committed only for sheer pleasure. I stood firm and insisted that he had committed an evil act and the alignment change was justified. I then told him if we were to play any more games together, he would have to tone down the graphic torture scenes because it was creeping me out a little. That got him even angrier, and he accused me of implying that he didn't know the difference between fantasy and reality, i.e. everything in the game was just fantasy, so any content should be okay. That ended up being the last game I GM'd for the group. I ended up leaving the group not too long after for not altogether unrelated reasons.
Trollord Games. Join the fray.
Are we live? I think Chuck said we're live. Good deal. How's everybody doing? It is April 30th, 2024, and I am Stephen Chenault, CEO of Trollord Games. Yes, Sparky, I'm back up in the mountains. I have left my normal roost. My wife had something shoulder surgery.
That sounds right.
She tore something in her shoulder rotary cuff. Does that sound right? I don't know. So she's in recovery at the moment, sitting outside watching a bald eagle of all things, and fly by, and a couple of Mississippi kite hawks have been circling the area all morning. So yes, she tore a thingamabob and they sewed it back together, and she is in some horrible harness thing. So
there's Doc Shoulder. That's what he does for a living. Seriously, that's what he does. Doc Shoulder's one of our old fans. That's what he does for a living, so he would know.
He would probably know. A rotator cuff. What is it? Dark Shoulder? Is it a rotator cuff? I think. So she's in this giant sling and she can't move her arm for.
He has 4 tomorrow.
He has 4 tomorrow. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So we retreated up to where it's very, very quiet and away from her office. And
yeah, your camera is bouncing like crazy. I don't know
what it is. Because I keep hitting it.
Oh my God, you're like Davis. Stop.
I'll stop. That's very good. All right. Someone brought me a Dr. Pepper. Let me go get that in a second.
Oh yeah, a bunch of them did.
Because of my existence, physical. I'm not seeing chat. It's not as bad as Davis. Nothing shakes the world like Davis.
Hey, what's up, Dan? How are you, buddy? Oh, that happens, Willie. Especially when you get to be young like us, you know. There you go.
Thank you for that, Dr. Pepper. So I have been deep diving into the Codex Infernum today, working very hard on the devils. The demons are all done, and the devils are up. And I thought I'd get a whole bunch done today, but immediately ran into the Archdevil Amun and Asmodeus. So those take a little bit more care and tenderness than normal, knuckleheaded devils. Didn't get as far as I want, but I'll work on it into the night. Very interesting getting into these guys. I don't use devils in my game as often as I use demons. So this is a new trip for me. Should I have a troll coaster for that Dr. Pepper? I don't have one on my desk, but I do have a paper towel.
Oh, I haven't even ordered any coasters.
So, I don't like to knock our product, and I love those coasters. I think they look badass. But because they're slate, if you have a drink with a lot of condensation on them, the condensation just kind of builds onto the slate, and then we pick it up. Yes.
I wondered about that. I
love them. I use it, but it can be, it's very, arcane, and there you go.
Well, we use them at the house, but she's got like these little wicker woven ones. They're pretty nice, actually. Yeah. It's just like a little woven thing. And she makes me use them, so it's all good.
Yeah, I've been using something think Rachel bought me in England years ago, and it's just been sitting on my desk. It needs washed and cleaned and all that. Question: will demons and devils be in the new Monsters and Treasures? No, the demons and devils will all be going into the Codex Infernum. That is a book I'm working on now. Monsters and Treasures will have its own whatever. But we've never really put the demons and devils in that book. We've always kind of kept them for themselves. I feel like now we're going to have dragons in the M&T, but I feel like demons, devils, and dragons really and fairies really need their own separate, books. We will be keeping dragons, of course, in the M&T, but demons and devils get their own. And down the line, we will have a book of fae, monstrous fae. I absolutely love using any type of fae at my table, so we definitely got to bring that up. I go into Mike brought me down CNC, so yeah, today is the Ask Me Anything. If you have any questions about Troller Games, about the crew of Knuckleheads and Kickstarters, or anything else, just throw it here in the chat, and I will do my best to tackle it.
Malaki's calling you out.
Why do you have to be the no fun police? Could we please get the Frogmouth?
Well, they were on to me and Jeremy about it on the stream last week or something, and Jeremy was like, "Steve said
I don't even know what
It's
what
a
is
big
Frogmouth?
it's a frog creature. It's been around forever. I think it came out in was it Monsters 2?
Who can say?
It's a big.
That was with the touchy parents type. There you go. Let's see. Keeping the bare bones fae and Granny's DMT is wise, but having expanded volumes dedicated to them would be awesome. Yeah, I love dragons, and I think each dragon needs its own 4-page treatment. Even this Asmodeus, I finished the write-up on Asmodeus, and what I'm trying to do is move away from this idea that devils can have any innate beauty or goodness about them. So I described his physical form in human-esque elf type thing as this beautiful creature, but it's all a facade. This is what he actually looks like, which is his, disease-ridden, horribly emaciated, humanoid-esque figure. And then his castle is this lush red marble palace with tall minareted towers and golden domes, but it's actually just plaster over, crappy wood and horribly built, because nothing in hell is as it seems. So I'm trying to make these devils seem to be worse. They're the broken sides of anything. They're broken. They're wreck and ruin both mentally and anything they touch. And I feel like that with these guys, we could really expand even more than I am, and dragons certainly can. And the only thing that you run into, the risk that you run into when you do that, is I might write Asmodeus this way, but you see Asmodeus this way, and it can get all messy. So we ratchet it back a little bit. Don't know if we'll do a book of dragons. We probably will eventually. I just love dragons too much. But
hey, we've got to have a place for the Draco Lich, man. I'm just saying, it's got to be in there.
There you go. And hey, so some of you old schoolers remind me. I swear I remember in a dragon magazine somewhere seeing the purple dragon, the yellow dragon.
Yeah. There was about 5 or 7 colors. Yeah, because the purple one's underground.
There was different ones. So it'd be kind of cool to revisit some of those classic stuff. Plus, make up our own. I like the idea of terrain-based dragons.
I do too.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
In the Monsters and Treasures of Air, they're basically terrain-based as opposed to whatever they are in regular stuff. Do we have any more questions?
Oh yeah, we got plenty. Yeah. All right. First one up is from Vindishi. Vindishi asks, "Will there be?"
You see Sparky's comment?
I ignore him. He's worried.
He said, "Chuck, STFU about the Dracolich."
He's worried I'm gonna put one. They think I'm gonna put one in the Saturday game. Anyway.
Oh, there you go.
Will there be any subtle changes to demons and devils based on the change from alignment to disposition? It seems like there are interesting distinctions that can be made between evil, chaos, and chaos evil.
Yes, absolutely. Some of those I'm going through. Like Amen, I just finished Amen a little while ago, and he's a devil, so he's lawful evil. But I changed him to evil lawful because his tendencies is far more towards the evil side than to the lawful thing. Asmodeus, I kept towards law because he wants there to be this structured, ordered world of which he is the master over. Of course, it isn't that way, but so his is law/evil. So I am trying to visit them and make them a little bit more nuanced with their alignments. I love that the way we've tackled that, because it gives us all a little bit more latitude, playing with these things.
Oh, absolutely.
Stephen has no love for your monsters, fools. If it isn't talking to Gilligan, truth.
He's not wrong.
Now,
Let's see.
Jeremy was fixing something in one of the monsters last week, and I thought that's not the way that should be. Then I thought I don't really care. He can do whatever he wants with that monster. Just moved on.
That's all right. Let's see. Kenneth Shar from over YouTube says, suggested make leather coasters glued to a hardwood backing. Condensation soft. Wow, that's a hard word to say.
There you go.
True Hitman
Solutions. I love solutions.
True Hitman 666 says, do you have any thought about translating CNC to other languages like Spanish?
Yeah, we would love to do that. We have signed with a group to have CNC converted into Magyar, Hungarian, which is going to be very, very cool. And I would love to see it in Spanish, Portuguese, and French specifically. I think that would just be very, very cool. So if you know anyone in that business, if you know anyone who wants to do that, we've probably started that in Spanish at least 3 times, in Italian once, but it never came to fruition. So I would absolutely love to see something like that.
Mm-hmm. Someone from Australia says, does each of the Angel, Devil, Demon books provide suggestions or becoming avatars or disciples of each in a general sense?
Yeah. So first in Gods and Legends, that's covered quite a bit, and that's already been published. The relationship between your character and the deity. So that's actually kind of covered in that direction. And in the Inferno book, I'm including a whole section on what's it called? It's not transmutation. I don't have my notes in front of me. It's transmigration, I think, something where the devil actually, you invite the devil in and you gain the devil's powers. That will be in there. And then possession, of course, as well. And for the Exaltum book, we're working on heroes of these angelic figures and the bonds between them via your word, your spoken word, the word of honor, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely going to give you greater links to these things. That's driving me crazy what that's called. I got it. One of the things that I'm doing for the Infernum book, I spent several months scouring texts and tomes trying to find books by Aleister Crowley, demonologists, some of these ancient guys who Catholics who wrote about demons and devils back in the Renaissance and whatnot, and getting copies of these books, obviously not originals, and looking at what these people kind of said about all this stuff and bringing that into the I'm gonna have to look it up. M5 is driving me crazy. And bringing that
I think it's what King Arthur's. I'm sorry, transmorgification.
What did he say?
Transmog or transmorg. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Transmog. Anyway,
I can find it. I know I sent. Who's Jason? I've been talking a lot lately. Let me get that TOC. I'll find it.
Oh, there is a transmorgification, but I can't.
That might be it. It was in Aleister Crowley's Book of Spells.
Oh, that's a good book. I haven't read that in years.
Yeah, it was pretty. Okay, here it is. Let me open this guy up. Lords of the Abyss, Legions of Hell. Where are we at? Importance of names. Transference is what it's called. Transference, possession, and summoning. So that will all be in there. I'm actually really excited about these Infernum and Exaltum books. And I want to tell you one of the things that I'm doing. So all of these books that I purchased, and there's about 20 of them that are, Chuck.
Just to add to this, King Goki had asked, will there be angels in the Infernum books? So I figured you could segue that in with your answer.
So will there be angels in the Infernum book?
That's what he's asking. He doesn't know about that.
No, those will be in Exaltum. So one of the things that I'm doing, and I'm super excited about this, I'm trying to use books that are real, that you could go to your library and read, or bookstore or whatever, with spells and mentions of these things and connections to that side of the world, and connect what I'm writing to these actual books, so that when you're playing Amazing Adventures and your character's in 1987 and you're having to fight, what is the John Wick? What is Constantine? You're doing the whole Constantine adventure. Yeah, you actually can make connections from Castles and Crusades Infernum to real world stuff to your own game. I'm trying to make this large connection.
That's interesting.
And a good instance of that in the Dictionary Infernum that was written in the 1600s. Asmodeus is described as the god of wrath or the demon of wrath. So I've brought wrath into his description in the Codex Infernum. So if you're playing in Amazing Adventures and you want to reference this Infernum dictionary book, you can actually make a connection with Asmodeus, as he's written in Infernum, is wrath. I'm just super excited about tying.
You know what this reminds? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the gods entries that we did, or you did in Codex of Aird. You are not making these just another hard level monster. You're giving them identity.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
so
know?
that it
like the
carries,
gods.
Yeah, and that's the idea behind a lot of these demons and devils and the angels. It's so that they carry more weight at the table and more story, and then you can go from it. Go wherever. And I think it would just be kind of cool if you're playing an Amazing adventure, and you yank out, you find in the treasure trove the Dictionary Infernum. I can't remember. It was a Frenchman, I think, who wrote that, and it references Asmodeus as this. This devil of wrath, and here he is, the devil of wrath, described in your game, so it all kind of ties together. Right. I'm very inspired, I got to tell you, and it's up here in the mountains. It's pretty dark and quiet, and we are way, way, way out in the middle of nowhere, so it's the absolute perfect time to read my Lovecraft. So I've been reading Lovecraft, and he's very inspirational for this stuff.
We've got two questions back to back, oddly enough, about.
Wait, I like Willie's comment, written by the mad Arab Abdul Aziz Chenault. That's awesome.
I think he was trying to go fit some Aird in there somewhere in that word. I don't know.
Well, that Abdul Aziz is part of the Necromanicon. I think it's pretty cool.
It is, yeah. That's funny. Scary too that he anyway. All right, so these are both got to do with Codex Mythos stuff. First one's from Dark. Oh, they're both from Dark Light, so I'll just make it one big fat question for you. I heard Brian isn't making the historical codexes anymore. What's in the future for that? Also heard Classicum is getting a rewrite. And there was a question we were talking about in the CNC Discord. Finland is apparently going to have its own book, but you don't consider them Nordic? Question mark.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a whole bunch of questions, and I'm insanely excited about what's happening. I sat down and had a very, very long meeting with Clayton Finley. Clayton is going to be the author of the forthcoming books on all of this stuff. He has gotten his degree at York University in Norse mythology, and I can't remember. It's very complicated. Whatever, UK university is a little different than what we do over here. But he's well versed in it, and he studies this stuff. He speaks Old Norse. He understands runes, all this other stuff. It's very cool. So we've brought him, and not only is he going to be TLG's full-time editor, but we've brought him on to write these books. And he's going to start with, and I'm going to mess this up. I think it's Finica, but it might be Finorum.
We just talked about this the other day. You need to find that question out. We need to know the answer.
I do. Well,
I don't remember.
He's given me two titles, and he's not 100% certain what the exact Latin is. So he's talking to, and I kid you not, he is talking to a professor of Latin who lives in Helsinki, Finland, to get the exact, So he's got these nice connections in these mythological communities. Yeah. So we'll see. I think we'll see a level of scholarly level brought to these books, which I wanted from the very, very beginning. Right. So Finland is getting its full treatment, and I'm gonna mess this all up. If Finn was here, he would certainly correct me. The Finns are not Nordic. I think they are a European Asian offshoot of something. I don't know.
Keep in mind, he's old and doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. So I don't believe the Finns are Nordic at all. They're their own, but he's not doing the Lapps. I knew the Lapps lived in Finland, but
it seems like from college now, we're talking a long time ago, but it seems like something like that. There was a distinction about the Finns outside the rest of the Scandinavians.
There's something.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to ask. I'm going to text him real quick.
Hey, Ryan Matthews says they are.
The Finns are Norse people.
The Finns are Ugro Finnic, he says.
That sounds
Ryan
right.
Matthews.
Right. Okay. Yes. So Ryan, you're right. So that's what I'm sure Finn is going to respond to in just a minute. So that's what we're going to do on Finland. To answer the classical question, yes, that book's going to be split into two, and this is very cool. I can't express how excited I am about this. I'm not a huge mythology buff, but I'm a huge history buff, and from a gamer's perspective, I bring politics into my game all of the time. Okay, so keep that in column A. Column B, because the Greek myths and the Roman myths have some overlapping, as we all know. Finn he pitched, and I instantly approved. In the Greek book, whatever it's going to be called, in the Greek Codex Mythology book, we're going to study the mythologies from I won't say religious perspective, but from the mythological perspective. And on the Roman side, it's going to be from a political perspective.
See, that makes way more sense. Way more sense.
Infinitely, because when you think of Rome, everything was used as a tool of Rome, right?
And they have the same gods for the most part. They just renamed them.
Right. But you get the Vestal Virgins. Everything kind of has a political tone to it. Now you certainly can go full mythology, but all of this stuff is far more political than it is in the Greco side of things.
And you know that the whole Greco-Roman thing, it's always been. That's why we have the classical, because they've always been so closely related. It's hard, unless you take the steps to separate them mythologically versus politically. Then you don't see that as much, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And because I don't really get into mythology that much, I enjoy it. But if you want to talk political mythology, that's a whole different ballgame. Using mythology for politics, that gives me a lot of fuel for that fodder. So those books will be split, and that's how they'll be split. And here's the big discussion that has not been decided upon. He wants to drop the Norse book entirely and merge it into one Germanic book. So there's your Germanic and Norse. He said they're basically all the same thing, and we have a gigantic amount of source material on the Germanic side of stuff. And my only problem with that is if you don't say Norse or Viking or Northman, people aren't going to know that the Vikings are part of that book. Codex Germania, I'm not going to think about it.
Yeah. I was also going to say, and this is no slight at anybody that, like even Brian, who worked on the books before, but Brian was, like you were talking about, we were wanting to get a little more scholarly, and he was very scholarly, but it at the cost of less gaming. We want to try to find a nice middle, right? Where we can get that information, but it works out at the table, right?
Yeah. So what would part of the thing here on the Codex books? I want the first part to be, to Chuck's point, I want the first part to be just pure mythology, so you can get in it and you can read it, and this is the myths of these people, this is the religious beliefs, and then the latter half is going to be the game. So it's very easy to separate. Brian Young wasn't well versed in Castles and Crusades, so he didn't write well for the system. He wrote good. I mean, they were good books, but Jeremy actually doesn't know yet, but Jeremy's going to be Finn's backup on that to make sure that everything is done, via CNC, and with Jeremy's hands now in all the books. He knows CNC.
Welcome to the meeting, Jeremy.
Right. Yeah. Spoilers, exactly, Ghidorah. Yeah. I am so tired. Yeah. Welcome to Troll Our Games. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just super jazzed about the way these are going to go. So great.
And we have a lot of comments here. People saying yes, more mechanics, more gaming stuff in the books, and that's one of the things they have missed. That's for sure. So,
yeah, we will make sure that is back in there in loads.
Let's see. MJ Cook says, I got my CNC mystery bundle from the sale. There's really some cool stuff in there. I had no idea TLG had a mass combat system. Is this something TLG will be revisiting in the future? It seems like it was a box set.
So funny thing about that, Fields of Battle. So we've been doing a little bit of moving stuff around here in the inner workings of Troller Games. And Chuck got a few more duties dropped on his desk last week or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember now. And it was more store maintenance. Because the new store is good. It's good, but we have so many products and so much back stock and all kinds of other goobly goop that we got to get up here.
Oh no, we're not going to. I'm sorry. I'm answering questions. I'm answering comments. No, we're not going to get rid of any lore. No. So.
Oh no. What is it? Someone's asking you about.
There's talk about how like for Brian, me too. I got into the Codex books because of Brian and all that. It was really cool. But people's worry we might sacrifice lore for mechanics, which that's not the
No,
case.
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. There's going to be more lore. And take Germania, for instance. So Finn is currently pitching that Germania be split. There's so much content on the myths that it be split into 2 different books. So he's talking about 400 pages, where currently we have about 120 pages. So there's going to be a vast more lore dumped into it. Think about so Brian Young did a fantastic job on the Codex Keltarum. It is a beautiful book, and it's just chock full of lore. But think about it, it's 3 times as big as the other ones. So each of the other ones will be given the same treatment that the Codex Keltarum will be. It'll just more of this stuff. I had no idea we had that much information on the Germanic myths, to be honest with you. And I can't remember what Finn told me the other day. It was something about some book. I don't know. It was just some stuff.
Go on.
Yeah, so there's going to be far more. Trust me, much more lore. And just think about the Greek book will be 150 pages, and the Roman book.
That's exciting.
Yeah, there's just going to be more of it.
I'm just looking forward to the giant equipment list in the Roman book.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, did you see Peter Bradley posted in the group chat the other day that Swiss Army knife that the Romans were using?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
That was
crazy.
really cool.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
King Goki says, in the new Monsters and Treasures, could we get some tools to make our own monsters? That's a brilliant idea. I hadn't even thought about that.
Isn't that in the? Is that? I thought that was in the M&T.
No. There's no stat template block or nothing like that. We should put something in there like that, like a monster sheet or something, you know?
Somewhere there's how to make monsters. I don't know where.
I don't know what book. Maybe second printing. I don't know. I don't know.
So Finn says it is the Balto Finns. They are Finnish Estonians.
Estonian. Oh, okay. That's where he got that from. Okay.
He may try to jump in the stream. We need to get him on one day.
I don't know why he
actually.
don't get on. He's great. Be better looking at my ugly face. That'd be fantastic. I don't know hound him about that. I'm gonna hound him about getting on more since he's working for us now. So, let's see. When did the Wolf Alone ask, when did Keltarum get updated? I have to check my copy and see which version I have. LOL.
So the updated one has the orangish picture. Is a tree, I think, in autumn, and there's the antlered god in the background, I believe. That would be the most recent.
Freppy's got it right. If you buy enough TLG books, you'll find the monster templates.
Hey, when you do find it, let us know.
Yeah, email us at productsupport@trollo.com. That's right.
What is up with my lighting? The lighting's gone crazy.
I don't know. It's probably, is the sun going down up there? No, it's not. King Kothar suggests 1 page of gameable content for every page of mythological exploitation would be nice, but I know it's probably be more like 1 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, so the gaming content is kind of tough. You almost have to do it classes, or spells, and there's so many spells. Or you can do challenges from the CKG. So it gets the gaming content can be challenging.
George Field says.
Okay, so here he is. Here's from Fred. It's about the Balto Finns, which are essentially the Finnish, the Estonians, the Karelians, and the Ingrians. It doesn't include the Sami, the Volgar Finns, or the Hungarians, who are all Finnic but have pretty distinctive mythologies. I hope that answered the question there.
Wow, I'd like to get that boy up on a panel someday. That's awesome. All right, George Field says, how many pages are estimated for the new core books?
They will roughly be the same page as they are now.
Oh, Pawn Dream found it. There are 2 pages of monster creation rules in the first printing classic monsters book. Go.
Oh, so they were somewhere out there. All right, so we need to yank those out. And
You're not crazy after all.
Yeah, so I knew they were floating around. So just to let everybody know, especially somebody I can't remember, but I have taken the chart from the screens, the light chart, and copied it and pasted it into the player's handbook 10th printing. So everything is, and I created a 3rd column for duration. So everything will have radius, your ambient light radius, and your duration for like 12 different types of light.
You know what? You're so benevolent. Thank you for that. There's a lot of people out there who will be illuminated by your work.
Illuminated, yes. How many
Okay.
lumens went into that?
Yep, it's all right here. Monster experience points. It breaks down all this stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's so funny that it's in that book and it's just gotten dropped. So that needs to go. It's 2 pages, you say?
What he said. Oh, right.
That
here.
needs to go in.
Monster creation is, well, it's actually 1 page. First page is just 1 paragraph. Small, 4 sentences.
All right, we
That's
can
all.
fit that in the new MNT.
Oh, easy.
We might have to throw out some of Jeremy's Beatles, but
Yeah, that's true. We could do that. We probably need to make sure it gets looked over real good, though, because that was written, God.
yes.
When was that put out? I don't even know. I don't remember. 2000.
So he's saying it's going to be called the Codex Fenorum, but he
Fenorum.
doesn't want that written in stone yet until he hears back from that professor. Not the Beatles. Beatle gang rise up.
Willie says, with all that illumination, will they be able to, will we be seeing mage armor?
Do what? Yes, so it's not called. So this is what I did. Now I'm not going to swear to. Wait, I can swear to this.
What did you
Not
call
yet.
it? I'm just curious what you called it.
It's called magic armor, right?
It's horrendous. Oh my God.
And it actually allows, and I'm not 100% certain of this, but I think it allows the wizard to cast it on other people other than himself.
That's an interesting change.
So I believe that's what I put in there.
Well, I wish we could keep it like, God, we can't use the word mage. Are you shitting me? The word armor?
We probably can.
Okay, that's what I'll say.
But we'll look into it. I don't know. I'd have to, let me see if I don't think I've got the 10th printing open. I think I got the 9th. No, I got the 9th printing open, so it's definitely not in there.
So there's a.
So just to let you guys know, Finn is still texting me about the Finns, the Nordic people.
he will for hours now. You know this, right?
Yes.
He's excited. But I will let you know there's a small riot going on in chat about elimination of the Beatles. People are talking about dressing up. They're going to come down to the office and stand around and protest. A lot of shit going on. Just so you know. Anyway, let's see.
The Beatles have risen.
Arcane armor. That's what I thought, Sparky. But the thing is, we've been trying to keep it where it is in the book. So M for M and that kind of thing.
But Chuck, mage armor's not in the book, so we can call it arcane armor and put
Well,
it
that's true, and I like arcane armor a lot better anyway. I think that's badass.
done. Sparky, hat off to Sparky. Name change. We're gonna fix it.
I said just weeks ago. I might give
Oh,
him
did
all
you
the
really?
credit. Yeah. When you said magic armor in that staff meeting, me and Jeremy about lost our minds over that. I'll never forget.
I didn't hear you say arcane armor. You need a fancier name like Sparky or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Because Sparky always illuminates me when he's speaking. See what I did
God, really? This is getting bad now. This is getting bad. This is getting bad.
Arcane, yeah, they're all backing you. Arcane armor, it is. Just Chuck, remind me.
Yeah, see, Wolf Alone's my witness. He's my witness. Wolf Alone.
Who is?
No one listens.
to Chuck. Just don't let me forget, or it'll go to print called Magic
I will not let you forget. Jeremy, put that down. Note.
Yeah. Jeremy and I already have a list of crap.
Oh, I
we're
know.
not supposed to forget.
I know. Remember, arcane armor. It's easy. Just AA. That can't get confusing with anything, right?
I think we changed some of the spells to arcane to arcane something. I think. I actually got that stupid list in front.
I'd have to dig the
Nope,
list out.
we did
now.
not. So there you go. Could have sworn we did, but we did not.
You're gonna be like
We
Malaki coming on here.
Arcane Mark is arcane. Do what?
Yeah, I think Sparky says he's gonna remind Steve every stream. It'd be like Malaki getting on here
That
and
is-
hounding us about that.
That is a very good idea.
Yeah,
And
that's
Sparky,
a
I
good
got to
move.
get you more pictures to go through, but I don't know what's going on with this light there. I'll just hang out over here.
Don't worry
Got
about it.
some
Now we
kind
can. We'll call it
I got some
Fireside
weird kind
Tales
of-
or some shit. I don't know what is
I got
that.
it's some kind of angelic figure forming over my head.
Shit. That is the funniest thing I've heard all day long. It's happening. It's happening. I'm transcending. Wait, what is it called? Transference. It's happening.
Amor. Oh, that would be even better. Arcane
wow.
Amor.
Hello.
Let's do that.
Look, I lost the war for Begazer, but won Arcane Armor. Yeah, Arcane Armor is way good. Begazer was nice too for a kid's child's book. You know, it's good. Workshopping spell names. I have some extensive notes for you, Steve.
If we're workshopping spell names,
Oh God,
dude, Jeremy, we have finalized that list. You know it as well as I do. And
guess what, everybody? We're going to have to wait 6 more months because of Jeremy. Go thank him in person. No.
Well, Jeremy's done so much work on the C series, the A series, the S series, and the I series. We'd have to go through and fix all that stuff. No, spell list is done. I can safely say that Mage Armor doesn't appear anywhere because it never existed in the game before.
And that's crazy how that didn't get poured over, but all that other stuff did, you know?
Because that spell comes from the Unearthed Arcana in D&D. Is that correct?
I believe so.
And there were some good spells in that book.
Oh, yeah, it's a great book.
I really thought.
Yeah, it was it's one of my favorites. In fact, I've got 3 copies of it.
Yeah,
Two of them are not serviceable at all, but they're worthy to look at. You know what I mean?
Mine fell apart. Jim Ward told me about the binding of that book. Yeah. It had some problems with the binding on that book.
Yes, just like we had on one book at one time. Yeah, it happens, you know. I could say after all the books I bought over the years growing up, man, there was very few that were like that, though, honestly.
Eat to Serve says you could do a global find, replace command. What could go wrong? Man, we've done that a couple of times and everything goes wrong.
I remember in Undying War, I tried that shit and I did not go over well. I had to reverse everything, man. That messed up.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Sometimes it seems that Jeremy does all the work. Steve comes up with something in the stream and says, Jeremy, we're doing it.
Oh, I like Kansas City Force ideal, Steve. Read that right there. So I'd like to have some new spells too. That's right. Make a 9th level spell wizard save or die spell. Save or die spell for wizard. The ground opens up and the damned drag the victim who fails down to the hells. Can you imagine something like that? That would be horrific. It'd be cool though.
Well, you know, it's not on the docket right now, but I would really like to go through the adventure spell book.
Oh, that's gotta be
and really bring in some really. Here's one of the things that I don't know how to say this without being insulting, but the spells that are a lot of the spells in the SRD are just not
inspiring.
Let's go with that. So
eliminated.
Yeah. So I have for years playing D&D, just taken it, just rewritten, and they do different things, whatever.
That's what I do. Yeah.
And I would like to see all of that stuff purged and the CNC content be given an element of flair. I don't know, whatever. I just read Jeremy rewrote the eye robes, the robe of eyes, whatever the damn thing's called, and it's now the Oculus robe or something. And Jeremy's right; it was fantastic. It was just absolutely, it was cool. I mean, I was reading, going, this is cool. I can visualize this.
Right.
But reading the one that we've got in the current MNT, it's just a robe with eyes on it. What? Okay, whatever.
Well, just like even your approach to the spells is way better now. I think I can already.
I think so too. It gives, yeah. You can see something, and I think that in a visual world that is driven and is going to be more and more driven by AI art, no matter what we want, I think to feed the imagination with nice descriptions is essential.
You know what I think is cool about it is the fact that it gives people who are not used to role playing, it's giving them a mental prompt. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I think so.
And I think that's very important because a lot of people don't know. They don't role play. They get into these games. I've had tons of people on my table. I didn't know. I just worked at a factory buddy of mine. He asked me to come over. He says, "What y'all doing? Using swords?" Then right then this guy's not going to role play, right? But if you start describing stuff to them, an hour later they're doing the same damn thing back to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I run that Sunday game that's all video game play. That's all they do. But they separate. I mean, and they get pissed off when we don't play on a Sunday. They separate the video from thing, and they love the descriptions. They love to get into their own stuff and what their characters can do. And because there's no RPGs, and I've said this 1,000 times, RPGs is the most unique game system there is out there because there's no limitations on it really other than your imagination. And that's limitless as long as you unfetter it. And that's why CNC, and I don't like to compare it to other games, but it's the superior model for the RPG because it really gives you this loose framework within which to operate where all of your imaginative conjurings can be dealt with by a rule very, very quickly without any kind of long dissertation. So, and we have been very careful for the past 20 years of publication to not build stuff on top of that, to not overly complicate that rule or add anything to it. It's the exact same siege engine that it was in 2004 when it came out. So It really is. It's tailor made for it. Any more questions floating around in there?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to make a comment. This is from Eat the Surf Dave. He said, "Do you know of the wizard fiasco at TSR? Back in the day, they did a find replace for the word mage under damage, and it messed the whole thing up. You know,
Oh,
can
yeah.
you imagine?
So I can't remember what word it is, and I don't know what book anymore, but Peter Bradley did that in one of the layouts of the book. He did that find, and he said this will be easy, and he did a find and replace, and it took the center of words. I mean, it was a disaster. It was a mess.
That's hilarious. I mean, it's not funny at the time, I'm sure.
It was kind of funny even then.
When I screwed up that Undying War, when I was doing the edit on that, I remember freaking out and going, "Oh my God, Steve's gonna kill me!" I was just flipping out because it messed up everything. George Fields. I'm sorry. This kind of tags along. This kind of tags along with what you were talking about, the Adventure Spell book, and it may be, you know. So George asks, will there ever be a spell compendium or a magical item compendium? So I'm curious about what he means by compendium. He's talking about.
I'm assuming that he means a book of magic items, and obviously we're doing the Waylon Smith catalog of Gary Gygax's, but that's not what he's talking about. Those are joke items,
right?
Or satirical items, I should say. But absolutely, that is on the docket. I got to tell you, as many of you know, I've been running games since 1980, and I've been playing since 1975 or 76 or some kind of crap. And man, I'm tired of these magic items. I'm so tired.
And you know, I was thinking about this the other day. Growing up, I've got them over here. Man, TSR was brilliant. They put out everything. Even they would put out like a list of their shit and sell it. I bought these lists of nothing. All they are lists of fucking magic items and where they appear in books. It has no descriptions or anything. And I went and spent $10 or something on each one of those to have them, and I don't even know why. They're useless.
Well, that's what you do, right?
But yeah, you buy everything, you know, because that's what I still do that. So,
but one of the things and I don't know that these ever made it to print. They may have in some of the odd and end things like Rune Lore, but Mark Sandy, who used to work for us, he created I don't know, 20 or 30 magic items, and they were cool things. Like I remember the Halflings. It was the Halfling's bedroll, and the Halfling's bedroll is a simple bedroll. When you sleep in it, you heal a hit point that night. Yeah. And that is so cool. I mean, that was just little bitty things like that. There was a magical cot, and there was just magic items that were different, that helped the players, that helped
utility stuff.
Yeah, utility stuff. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. And I would love to see just a ton of that stuff.
Well, it reminds me of that old catalog that they came out with Auroras. You know, it was serious stuff, but a lot of it was utility stuff, like magical chalk, all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, and Lando and the rest of you, and George, yes, the Adventure Spellbook, which we have out now, is what basically is. It contains all the spells. It does need some some love, though. That's for sure. So, let's see. So that's kind of because I don't think George even knew we had that. A lot of people may not know.
Agreed, Sparky. Hey, Jeremy, so you want more stuff to do? Is
that? Let's see. Rick Montel says, enjoying you guys from the fabric section of Hobby Lobby. I can't complain. We just came back from an Alien 45th anniversary. Oh, cool. Yeah, they're re-showing it. They're showing it in the movie theaters.
Yes, Tyler texted me about that. And I think I'm up in the mountains and it's playing. It'll be done by the time I get that.
Yeah, if you wander out far enough, you'll get your own 45th anniversary of Aliens. Anyway,
that is true. That's true.
Dark Light 689 says, "How about a specific spell in the Adventure Spellbook?" Okay. Question about a specific spell in the Adventure Spellbook that I enjoyed the flavor of, but seemed mechanically underpowered is Primal Rage. Did you mean to make it clear only last one round? It feels a bit short acting for what it's supposed to do.
Man, I don't have the book in front of me, but I think that I put that limitation on there because it's pretty powerful. And I've learned as a DMCK, whatever GM, that you can give a lot of power in short bursts. Otherwise, it'll break your game in a heartbeat.
Yeah, for sure. Goblin King Goki says, "Thank you again. Please consider putting the monster building rules in. I love monsters."
We will do that. I think that's a great idea. I honestly, I don't know how they got dropped. Well, we merged those two books. I'm surprised they got dropped.
I can't believe I didn't think about it.
And even when the question was first posed, I said, well, they're in the M&T, but clearly they got dropped.
We need to come up with really good rules, put them in the book, and then have Grace on her streams every once in a while do a monster creation night with those rules out of the book.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. That'd be very cool.
Monster of the week or monster of the month. It'll probably be real realistic. 2 weeks. Let's see. Dark Light 689. How about Oh wow, did I just literally just erase the wrong? I did. I erased the wrong questions. Oh no. Okay. Somehow I had that repeated in there twice. I'm not sure how that happened.
Mine is Wolf Alone hiding behind the couch.
What?
The one with his. Oh, they're having a discussion. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that would be good because it would be. I never even thought about it before, but I can't. But we need to definitely have a really good one in there. People love that shit. You know, they love it.
Yeah, no, it's good. Well, and it's a good tool. I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just the window. Yeah.
Oh, you're fine.
No,
Don't worry about it. It looks like you're
Yeah,
exotic or something.
Keep moving my. Wait, maybe I go this way.
Oh,
There
my
we go.
God.
That's-
Oh my. Let's see. I think we're caught up on questions. Let me look and see. Oh, I've got one right now from King McGlut. There you go. You mentioned recently that. Can you read it? Okay. Okay.
No, you go ahead and read it, John.
All right. You mentioned recently that you'd like to expand into computer games. What would you like to see released first? A port of a popular module, or perhaps something else?
So there's three things that are kind of on my mind with the computer side of things. I would love to see, and this one's kind of weird, and I don't even know if this is a game. I would love to see people create aired in Minecraft. I think that would be badass. I mean, so that you could go to aired in Minecraft, because people create whole worlds.
Oh, I see.
I know there's depths of blocks, there's limitations on that, but I just think an aired on Minecraft would just be awesome. I think Minecraft is one of the most clever games there is, period. But I'd also like to see either one of two sides of the coin.
Yeah,
I don't know what the types of games are called. One is a building game where you start with like a house and you build a town around it. I can't remember what type of game that is called. I think that would be very cool with CNC and aired. And then I'd like to see like a World of Warcraft with aired. I think that would be. I mean, it's tailor made for that. All the stories, all the lore, all the monsters, everything is there. You could literally skin one of the games and just put this new stuff on it, and your city simulator, is that what that's called?
Well,
and then you're golden.
I think.
Do what, Chuck?
Well, Jeremy's probably thinking about SimCity, but you're talking about something where you actually can see the village and everything happening, right? You get your folks, and you basically. So basically, I know what you're talking about. There's a game out that just came out on Steam this past week called Manor Lords, and basically. That's what you do. You start off building. It's an interesting game. You end up basically building a settlement. People are attracted, come there and start working. Then you start building it up. And then you become like the ruler over that small village in this kingdom.
Yes.
And eventually, you rise up with your people and you get your own armies and you take over that country from the queen or whatever.
Yes. I think that World of Warcraft, the original one that came out in the 90s, was sort of like that because you got a worker and you built a house and then you built another house and then you would get like a knight or something like that. So I think those are kind of cool. And I can't remember what they're actually called. I don't know if City Simulation is what they're called. Pete told me they have an actual name.
Yeah, real-time strategy. Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Steven, I'm not sure how you'd like to play those games.
Johan says, where did he say that? He says CNC MMO in 2027 confirmed.
Yes.
And now everybody's encouraging him to post that in social media. That's fantastic. Grace would be like tomorrow. We're getting emails about a new MMO that's coming out.
I'm going to ask. I'm going to see Pete's probably still at work, but hey, what are those games called where you start?
He means World of Warcraft. Wow.
What I need to do, my son, he's a huge video gamer, huge video gamer. And what I need to do is take him to GDC, the Game Developers Conference, so I can have because I don't do very many video games. I play GTA and Red Dead Redemption, and I think that's the exact same game with horses and cars.
It is. I
think. Yeah.
I mean, kinda. There's a little difference.
Yeah,
but
isn't it by the same
engine? Same. Yeah, it's Rockstar. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. George Fields asks, what type of freelance material would you like to see? More adventures, city or town supplements, gnomish empires?
Adventures. I think that what CNC lacks is just simple, easy to access adventures for people. We've got like 50 or 60 of them, but if you take them as a whole, it sounds impressive. But when you break them down, it's 13 are in the A series, 7 are in the C.
Yeah, when you pull the A and C series out, it gets light really fast.
Yeah, suddenly you've got 13 adventures in the S series that are all independent, and they're strangely I think they're mostly high level or something. I don't think there's very many low level and mid level. I don't know. It's just so that's really what we need. That's
Well,
what,
as I'm putting this stuff in the store, I'm actually going to go through and make a chart of all that. I've already decided I was going to.
that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. That'll help a lot.
It help a lot because then I could say, "Oh, we need some mid-level adventures, or we need some very high-level adventures, or whatever," because so no gnomish empires. Well, there's always the risk of Davis finding out George and coming after the empire. So there's that.
That is true.
Very true.
That's what we need is a GTA aired style.
Oh God, unbelievable. Is there a level gap?
Is there a level gap that needs to be filled in terms of adventures?
I mean,
I think it's so scattered. Probably we've got all levels barely covered.
Ask me in 2 months, King. I'll have an answer for you.
Yeah, for my money, just off the top of my head, I think entry level, first level adventures are lacking, and then mid level, like 5th to 8th.
That reminds me. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I do want to rework our terminology on that stuff for the descriptions for the adventure breakdown thing we do.
Yeah,
I do want to have a more focused titling for like entry, low, mid, high, epic. You know what I'm saying? I'd really like to work that out to where we have it. Same thing.
we actually did that in the first like 10 years, and then we
Right.
dropped it, and I went more generalized. I can't remember why now I dropped it.
Yeah, and one thing I've learned about that is where we've had that mix. You go in the old store, man, I would see like exactly what you're saying, but then I would see specific numbers, and I was just like all over the place about it.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. Part of the reason I think that we dropped it is when David and Dave's did most of the writing of adventures. Ours are pretty open. I mean, you can run kind of like any level through them because we don't really.
That's
think
true. That's the problem is we know that you can really work for any level. You know what I mean?
Right, but the average, guy looks at the back of it. He doesn't know what's in my head. So, yeah.
I'll tell you something. I guarantee you, I don't even know the answer to this comment, but I'm willing to bet you growing up as kids, when you guys played, yes, Davis bought all the books and you didn't, but I bet he bought rule books. He didn't buy a ton of adventures.
No.
Whereas my guys and I've got tons. That's what we did, right? Because that's what everybody does it a different way, right? Originally, we started off buying all the B series, all that, and that's the thing. You get that mentality, and then you guys over here running the company don't. What do you mean? Because it's totally different. So you have to.
Well, we also
think out of the box all the time about all this.
Davis and I game very, very differently. It's a lot of from the hip and a lot of storytelling and all of that crap. So pinning down an adventure, I mean, I can take A1 and run 5th level characters through it and have no real problem because I can beef up monsters and all that other stuff. But a lot of people don't even know to do that, especially if they're coming from games that are a little bit more strict with all of that goobly-doo.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. George Fields asks, have you considered fantasy racial codexes, like a dwarven codex, an elven codex?
That floats around all the time. I love those things when they came out in the day. And I think it'd be cool to have them. I really do. I love it. Elves, dwarves, orcs, kobolds, all of that stuff. It's not on the table at the moment, but it certainly is. It certainly floats around the offices every now and again.
Yeah. Let's see. A couple good comments here. Darklight says, I'll share that dungeon I've been working on after I get it to run. To run it hopefully next weekend. That would be cool. You need to definitely share it in Discord so we can see it. Goblin King Goki says, hey, I just want to say thanks for listening to my questions and suggestions. I appreciate it. I will skip over Jeremy's comments. Let's see. We'll keep going here. Let's see. What about a visual novel? Oh, you know what, Ben? That's actually a good idea. What about a visual novel game of something like the A series, even set up as a video game Lone Wolf style? So something I can tell you that I've got, Steve, on my computer is a series I got from Steam a long time ago. And they're basically solo adventures that you play, right? Or I bought them because I was playing with stream. I would let them because you come up with questions and all that. But you can definitely, you could always, if you stay away from the multiplayer aspect of it, that makes the game infinitely easier to design, right?
Oh, interesting. That's good to know.
Yeah. So we could, that's an interesting thought, is doing something about that approach there.
I think that and we have, Tim and I went down this road a couple of times and got close.
Yeah.
But the volume of material that exists for Aired is it's enormous, and I think that it would play to a video game company's benefit because they don't have to create. If they already have the engine, they don't have to create any of the mythos or the characters, the NPCs, or any of that stuff. So that's kind of the take. Whichever direction video games go, I think that's the strength of it.
A couple things real quick I want to address. Lando says, how about a Crusades Codex? Not sure, but you can comment on that in a second. But I want to say something. So, Sirius, I got your email forwarded over to my email box this morning. I was out. I'll be emailing you probably tomorrow in the morning or something. I'll send you an email over and get you straightened down on that. Yeah, I know exactly what you were talking about there. They didn't. They're new. And so they didn't know what proper response, how to handle it. But I'm going to get with them and make sure it doesn't happen again. But not to worry, man. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about that. I'll get with you. Have you guys seriously not thought about making? Oh yeah, we've been talking about doing CNC game forever and a day for sure. Oh no, that's no worries.
Wait, so King Maglut says, plus it is all your IP, and that is actually insanely valuable. I can't tell you how many conversations I have with people out west that the very first question they ask is, "Do you own this material?" We're in negotiations with a company right now, and that was one of the very first questions: who owns this material? And because we own it, it makes it easier. So I don't know what. And the next question was making a Castles and Crusades JRPG game. What is that? The question is from Goblin King. Have you guys seriously not thought about making a Castles and Crusades JRPG styled game?
Oh, I think he's thinking about Japanese.
Oh.
Maybe. I was just thinking of RPG.
Oh, Japanese RPG.
I didn't see the J in front of it. I just took it as an RPG.
Right. So as anyone that is in the group chat, which of course is Chuck and Jeremy here, knows, I don't know how often Peter brings this up in the group chat, but in my chat that I have a chat with everybody that works at Troller Games. I have a personal chat, and in my personal chat with Peter Bradley, at least once a day he brings up a Japanese version of Castles and Crusades. He's a huge anime fan. He's very versed in the games over there and the anime and the manga and all that stuff. So I really don't know. I really don't know why we haven't gone that direction. And even Peter's art, he's so heavy into anime these days that his art carries an anime feel to it. Not huge, but because I asked him to tone it down. But he'd probably be tailor made for it. But I don't. It's one of those things that a market like Japan, I know absolutely nothing about. So it would be a whole huge learning curve to jump into it. But it's something I'd love to look at.
That would be interesting. I'll be honest with you, I'd never crossed my mind. But I'll be honest with you, Steve. There is I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but there is a glut of your regular old RPGs, video games that are out right now. Like, for example, Baldur's Gate 3 came out a while back, which was a big hit. But there are a ton of, I don't want to say exactly like it, because they have different rule sets, obviously, because it's 5e and whatever. But you'd be surprised. There's a lot of games like that out right now. It'd be nice to see something different. That's for sure. Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of love for that style of game. I see a lot of MMOs that have went that way. They're still around, right?
Yeah. Tyler, there's a whole level of insurance that comes with board games that I don't want to mess with at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that a moonshine joke? Yes, indeed. I'm getting through the mountains. Water by the gallon.
All right, let me get back over here. All right.
Big danger.
What did he say?
Board game and
oh yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's one
else?
of those things. Dark Light is one of those things that you don't have to have insurance for board games, but it has swallowable pieces, so you get into another level of danger zone or whatever you want to call it. You got to take that into account.
Yeah, Goki says, well, I meant it doesn't have to be in a like anime or manga style. Just the mechanics of a Japanese RPG seems perfect.
So a Wolverine says, all those stupid kids playing pieces of their noses. So I got to tell you a story. I know we got to go, but I want to tell you the story. So once long ago, I was a junior chef at Red Lobster. I can't remember where it was, some restaurant. It was one of those, mid-level restaurants. And I was in the kitchen, and the cook came running up to me, super, super nice guy. But he had two, you got lima beans, and then you have giant lima beans. And he had stuck two giant lima beans up his nose.
Oh my god!
And he ran up to me and he shouted and he shouted, and then he tried to blow them out. One fell out and he sucked up the other one, and that lima bean shot up his nose, and he had to sit there. I don't know. It must have been 10 or 15 minutes. He dug that thing out with a toothpick. It was horrible. it left me with mental scars watching him fight that lima bean. Yeah, a long time ago. So yeah, so small gaming pieces and noses never get along.
I'm gonna set us up a raid.
I
We'll
have
get out of here in just a second.
So we leave you with that lima bean up the nose, the nose image. It was hilarious. He was a super nice guy.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna raid. I'm gonna raid into AJ Winters. You met her at Gary Con. Her and Robert from Australia. She's streaming right now. She's doing her regular weekly game. I thought we'd stream and give her a little bit of love and go over there. You guys can meet her. She runs a great game. I've played with her. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, good thing it didn't get into his sinus cavity. No kidding.
Yeah, he's very lucky. He was a cool guy. He had spent a year in Tucker State Prison, and Tucker Prison in Arkansas back in the 90s was not. It was horrible in the 70s, but it was bad in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I remember him telling me, he said, "Man, I am never committing a crime ever again." it was really funny.
Oh my goodness. All right. On that note, I think we'll get out of here unless you're ready. My wife's signaling me with smoke signals. So everybody, thanks for coming out. I'll be back in the morning doing my world building stream and hanging out with you guys and just shooting the shit. And come by and see me in the morning if you're around. And we'll be back Thursday evening with our weekly troll staff stream. So come by and see us. If you're curious, here is our Twitch schedule.
Good call. Good call. Eat to surf.
What do you say?
A nice course correction on my part. Win as a prison nice. So
oh God.
On that note, everybody, you'll have a great evening and a great rest of your week. Chuck will be around tomorrow.
Yep.
And we'll have a troll roundup on Thursday night. And man, I'm just fading. We gotta go because my lights. I'm just fading it.
I know it's getting worse. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you. Bye, y'all.